Welcome to Explore. I'm Mary Ruth Snyder, the host for today's show, and guess what? We are coming to you from our studio on Rob Braun Road, Shaw Spotlight. The studio's open again, and we are so happy to be back in person. Speaking of in person, our very special guest today is Linda Thomas. She is the brand new executive director of the Filberg Heritage Lodge and Park Association in the Comox Valley, one of the gems of the valley, no question, and now they have a gem at the helm. Linda, how are you?
I'm good, thank you so much for having us.
It's our absolute pleasure. Now let's start, before we get into your new job, let's start way back at the beginning. So where were you born and raised?
So born in Winchester, Ontario, about 40 minutes southeast of Ottawa. Grew up there, took, like most kids in Ontario, took French all the way through school. And ended up kind of fast forward a little bit, spent a lot of time with nonprofits. I've kind of been working with nonprofits.
Now, wait a second, you're fast forwarding way too quick.
I'm gonna skip over all the nerdy stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't. Let's go back to the nerdy stuff. So high school, where'd you do high school?
So I did high school at this little high school called North Dundas District High School. It's kind of a feeder school because we lived in the country, so French immersion. Way back then, you did grade 7 and 8 separately, then 9 through OAC, so grade 13. Yes, that says a lot of how old I am.
Now, I didn't know it as OAC. I knew it as grade 13, so that tells you how old I am. So after grade 13, what did you do?
So I actually spent a year in Campbell, Saskatchewan. I went to a private school for a year called Briarcrest Bible College.
Okay.
Did a one-year discovery program there.
Cool.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was a safe place to go, the furthest away I could get from my parents. And it was really great to have that time there. So yeah, I did that for a year, figured out who I was going to be, and applied to the social service worker program at Sir Sandford Fleming College in Peterborough, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how long did you work in the social services field?
So for several years, actually. So it kind of, the way it works, I did child and youth work for a little bit.
Okay.
I worked with a lot of nonprofits. So probably 10, 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so a decent amount of time.
And then you ended up in radio? Was it a direct jump?
Well, so actually, I ended up moving to British Columbia in 2007.
Okay. Right from Ontario?
Right from Ontario,
Okay.
yes. So right from Ontario to British Columbia in 2007. Then worked at the Military Family Resource Center, and then along with several nonprofits here on the island.
Okay.
Back to my roots, kind of how it was. So, I came from radio before this position, but I actually had never done radio with the exception of nonprofits.
Right.
So radio kind of found me.
Okay. Now, when you landed at the radio station, you were at the Eagle in the Comox Valley.
Yes, 97.3 The Eagle with Pattison Media.
Okay. And how long were you there?
So almost 9 years.
Wow. And when you started there, what role were you in?
So I started there as the promotions assistant for 97.3 The Eagle. And then worked my way up to the promotions director for the Eagle, and then the Island Radio promotions director. So I was in charge of the promotions department for 6 radio stations with Island Radio, Pattison Media. But that was a great opportunity for me because it allowed me to stay working with nonprofits. So I was able to use all the skills I had learned over the past several years and assist nonprofits and businesses with kind of how to promote yourself and your events, and it was a lot of fun.
Is there any particular experience from your childhood that sort of informed your decisions through the end of high school and into your, early 20s?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I came from a very kind of country family, a church family, and our family just experienced a lot of kind of struggles and watched a lot of family struggle. And I watched my mom for a long time help everybody she could. So she worked with a lot of kids that families were in different styles of situations. Before she had kids, she was a nurse.
Okay.
So working with kids as well and young adults. So that's just what we did. That's the thing, is everyone asks you, well, how did you get into this? Well, I don't know, that's what our family always did. We just helped everybody. Right.
So as you got into the social work and working with the youth and the young adults, when did you start, like what was it, the life event that made you move from Ontario to British Columbia? Like that's a major life event. I know, because I've done it.
Yeah, I know. Everyone asks me that. So I was married, and my ex-husband was military. So we both actually met in school. Then he joined the military full time. We got posted to Petewa, Ontario, where I worked at the Family Resource Center there. Okay. And then, of course, our postings brought us to Comox, British Columbia.
Oh, okay. All right. Got it. So that's the connection. And then once you landed in the Comox Valley, did you kind of go, oh my God, I am never leaving Vancouver Island?
That's pretty much what I said. I think I threw we threw our snow shovels out and realized that there's not a lot of mosquitoes here. You don't really have a skunk population. You don't normally hit 40 degrees, Celsius with humidity, and you don't go minus 40 degrees Celsius. So I don't know why. I mean, we're the best kept secret, so I don't really want to tell everybody, but yeah, this is why
I don't think it's a secret anymore.
Yeah, this is why you see so many Ontario people come here, because we're like, oh, this is the life. This is great.
Now, when you landed here and you got into the work, when was it that you made the shift from the social work side and the nonprofit side into radio? Like, how did you make that jump? Because it's normally the other way around. It's normally people work in the media and then they go into the nonprofit world. So you kind of did the reverse.
I do. I don't think I've ever done anything the way normal people do it. I think that's what, my family would tell you, is that, no, I'm kind of that kid who just makes those jumps. I'd spent a lot of time working in nonprofit. I worked for the Canadian Cancer Society. Okay. So I had dove right in with both feet. And, after a while, sometimes, as anyone knows who works with nonprofit, there is some burnout, and I just needed to change. And then I realized, how can I help so many other groups? How can I help multiple groups without just supporting one? And so this position came up at the Eagle, and I was like, I get to work with everybody in Campbell River, Comox Valley, Powell River, Black Creek. Like, this is really cool. So I get to see everything that's happening on our island and have my kind of small part in it, very, very small, but support all the nonprofits. So that was it. I was in.
Okay. All right. So that brings us up to now.
It
now
does.
You've been in your job for 4 months?
About 4 months, yeah.
Okay. And we'll forget the fact that the chair of the board is sitting in the studio listening to this. What do you think 4 months in?
You know what? I love it. Here's the thing about nonprofits, is you get to work with volunteers. And volunteers are people who choose to be there. And they choose to give their time to empower an organization and see it through to the end. And you know what? I've worked with a number of teams of paid employees, and they've all been fantastic, but there is nothing that beats volunteers. And their passion and their drive and their dedication, I wouldn't change it. And it's the Filberg, it's the park in Comox that is 9 acres of heritage land that we all have a connection to. If you stop anyone who's in the Filberg and say, hi, why are you here? Like, what's your connection? And they have a story, and that's it. Yeah. You can't beat that.
All right. Now, what is your absolute favorite thing about working at the Filberg? Now that you're there every day, 5 days a week, what is it that is your favorite thing about being on that property?
You're going to make me pick one, aren't you?
I am going to make you pick one.
You know what? I'm not a gardener, so I will be the first to say that if you buy me a plant for my office,
it'll die.
I am sorry in advance, it's dead. I might have to rehome it. But the gardens in Filberg, the history and the number of plants and the number of the types of trees, the types of plants, the things I'm learning. We actually have a gardener, her name is Trina, and she works for the town of Comox. And so she is the gardener that's at Filberg property 5 days a week with me. And I have learned so much from her, and I have a greater appreciation for what goes in to make those grounds look so beautiful.
Do you think now you could help a plant survive in your office?
No, you know what, no. No, our gardener will sometimes come in and be like, you need to water this plant. So yeah, I'm still not great.
You know, my grandmother had the greenest thumb ever. She could take a sliver of a leaf, put it in water, talk to it for a week, and it would grow roots. And then she would plant it, and then a plant would come out. It drove me crazy because her daughter, my mother, could not keep anything alive. Like, it was the funniest thing. Anyway, it was very funny. So I'm the same. I can't keep a plant alive in the house. I've gotten better outside with the outdoor plants, but in the house, I just can't do it. I don't know what it is.
You know, that's the thing. I can't either. I'll never be able to. But the nice thing we have what's called the Liz Stubbs Cutting Garden. So during late, kind of now in June to July, August, maybe early September, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you can buy fresh cut bouquets by donation. So here's the thing. Cool. I just go buy a bouquet of flowers and I put it in my office and pretend that was from me. Meanwhile, I know our volunteers are the ones who've done all the work, but it's great, right? There we go. So
it is really great. Now, first year, Filberg's back live, right? The big festival?
Yeah, so 2-year hiatus because like everybody else, COVID. So Filberg Festival, July 29th through 31st, moving to a 3-day format instead of 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So kind of walk us through, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have over 130 artisans that will be at Filberg. I can't wait. It's a juried process, so there is a process to be an artisan there. Of course, we'll have entertainment as well. A much more family feel, so there'll be a different style family area, a kids area.
Oh, okay.
So exciting.
Great.
So it's not just for adults now.
Right.
It's for everybody. We've teamed up with Comox Recreation. The hands-on farm will be open during festival. So if you have a ticket, you can bring your kids into the hands-on farm. So that whole component there is amazing. We went with 3 days instead of 4. I think that's a great move for us. And, you know, of course there'll be food because you can't have a festival without food.
And, you know, I got to say, there are some fantastic food trucks that are in the both Campbell River area and the Comox Valley, like that serve this entire North Island. Unbelievable food. Unbelievable.
I know, that's the thing. I think a festival is food, but you know, yeah, it's great. That's me personally, but I'm excited. The vendors we have coming to festival, as always, are amazing. That's the thing, and the entertainment lineup. You know,
give us a few of the names.
So
I know there's lots.
There are so many. Harpoonist and the Axe Murderer. Sam Churchill, I believe that's how we say.
Sue Medley?
Yes. We're doing a ukulele workshop. I know, that's
cool.
a thing. So you actually don't have to bring your own ukulele. They'll be on site.
No way.
Yeah, so yeah, tons of local entertainment. We branched out. There's a great acts on both stages. We have 2 stages every day, jam-packed. You know, just from Friday to Sunday, like just so much happening.
Well, I was looking through your board of directors list because you have John Mang is one of your board of directors. Well, he is an unbelievable musician, connected to everybody. So I'm not surprised that you have such an amazing musician foray for those 3 days. Not at all.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. He actually will be playing at Filberg Festival. So I can't take a lot of credit for festival. So here's the thing: we do hire a producer. MRG Events is putting on the Filberg Festival. So I've been working closely with their team, and they have spent so much time, you know, curating this event and finding the talent and working with the vendors. Awesome. And you know, just I'm so fortunate because, of course, being new and learning kind of all the things Filberg and festivals starting up, yeah, it's good to have a producer come in and do that part.
Now, the last time I was there, which would be 3 years ago, so there was also a summer kitchen. Is that open again?
So
is that up and running?
So Dubois Foods Co. is our person that's running. Chef Marc Andre and his sous chef Jonathan are amazing.
Okay.
So they're at the summer kitchen. It's open Thursday through Sundays.
Okay.
I suggest
is it lunch and dinner?
Lunch and dinner. I suggest making reservations. So if you head to our website, filberg.com, we have information about the summer kitchen. But the food is to die for. These guys have done such a good job. So yeah, it's just. And during the winter season, they do what's called a dinner club, and I've done their dinner club.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, a 5-course meal with wine pairings. And you
Where
know,
do they do it? In the little
yeah,
building?
it's so amazing.
How
It's
many people can they actually get in that building?
So about probably 16, but they have a
Really?
patio, so they're fully licensed and have a patio. So I always say, come for the food, stay for the view, because here's the thing: the
Right.
patio looks right onto the water,
does.
unobstructed view. You know, it's quiet, it's serene, and you're part of that history of Filberg. So
Well, and that view, world class. Like people are coming from, like, here's what I know about this summer on Vancouver Island. Almost every hotel from south to north is booked solid all the way through September. So if you didn't think tourists were coming, you're wrong. They are coming en masse, and a lot of them are coming from Europe.
yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing about Filberg: is I hope, my dream for Filberg is that whether it's your first date, you bring your partner to Filberg, or whether it's your wedding, a celebration of life, there's a connection to Filberg all the way through your life. That it's
Right.
not just this idea that you come for a walk. You come and you have dinner or lunch. You explore the gardens. You take pictures of your babies there. You have your wedding there, and that's it, right? Like that's what we've all done.
Yeah.
So
Gift shop. We have to talk about the gift shop. I am so in love with your gift shop.
our gift shop, I'm in love with our gift shop. So here's the thing about our gift shop: it's fully volunteer run, and I need to give credit to all of our volunteers. So they are open Saturdays and Sundays from 11 through to 4 weekdays. Saturdays and Sundays 11 to 4 for most of the season, and then July and August they open Friday, Saturday, Sunday 11 to 4.
Okay.
Now, when I say it's volunteer run, volunteers do the scheduling. They're there to run it. It's phenomenal. So they've taken over the entire lodge. So when you come,
Okay.
Yeah.
I wondered. Okay.
yeah. So when you come to
Because-
the lodge, you can shop through every single room.
Okay.
This
that
is what I love.
amazing. Yes.
Yeah, so you can come and shop through every single room, and what's neat is it's all donations. We have a few kind of items that they purchase. We have our own honey, and there's some
Where
gift
does your
cards.
honey come from?
Locally in Comox Valley, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just down the road, like so
Oh,
close
okay.
to us.
All right.
So we have
Is
our
it
own.
actually labeled Filberg honey?
It totally is.
No way.
Yeah, it is. I know.
okay.
It's kind of fun. We have our own honey.
That is so. Sorry, I just have to. That is the best thing I've heard for a very long time. That is so cool.
We have our own soaps too, but you know.
Really?
Yeah,
Who's
we
doing
do.
the soaps for you?
Someone local. So what
Okay.
volunteers have done a really good job of sourcing local.
That is amazing.
yeah,
Love
and-
to hear that.
Yeah, so here's the thing. People donate their items, and then volunteers look it over, price it, polish the silver, and then anything that can't be used, of course, they donate to another nonprofit.
Yeah.
But it's the history. Like, it's those people who are unpacking boxes and realize that they don't have the space for this china or this silverware, and
Yeah.
they share that story, and then someone else comes and buys it and shares a new story. So it's
I
not just
have
the
at
stuff.
least. I can't even tell you how many shelves in my china cabinet are directly from the Filberg gift store. I love old, historic, antique china, and there's nothing like the old. There isn't anything now like what was then. There just isn't. And the quality and the history and the craftsmanship and the artistry of the old china is magnificent.
And the glassware, like
Oh, glassware.
the glassware, like, you know, I have had something explained to me because I didn't even know what it was, but it's like where you would put your shrimp and the old
Yeah.
bowls, and but like it's in pristine condition. And
Yeah.
I don't know, having a dinner party now that we can have dinner parties again.
Yes.
I love it. You can bring that out and be like, check this out. But you know it's got history, and if you Google that stuff, you're like, oh, it's from like the 1940s.
Exactly.
And yeah, so I'm so proud of our volunteers. Like, they do such a good job.
So how do you make it home with any money in your pocket?
I get an allowance. I think the board members would say the same thing. We all get an allowance from our partners, being like, okay, but you can't help it because the stuff is just so amazing. So yeah, I try, and I gift a lot of it. So that's what's neat too for me is the volunteers will help you package it. You can ship it, and so my family back home gets lots of gifts from Filberg.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's talk about the gardeners for a second. I know you've talked about one in particular, but there's a whole area that's kind of at the lower part that is fenced off where they do the growing for the replanting.
Yeah,
Like such a process.
So two kind of different spots. So we have the town of Comox, who we have a gardener who maintains our gardens, the actual
Right.
larger gardens. Then there's what's called the Liz Stubbs Cutting Garden. Now that is fully volunteer driven. operated. So we have a volunteer who actually grows the seeds in her greenhouse. So she shops the States, Canada, Europe, and then brings those seeds in and then grows them, and then we put them into the cutting garden. And then a group of volunteers, they have watering days, they do their cut flowers, they do tours. We just celebrated National Garden Day on June 18th, so we had a whole educational piece. But the thing about the flowers that are grown in the cutting garden is they're so unique that you won't find them anywhere locally because they've been sourced from so many different places.
Right, okay.
And that's what I love. So when you buy a bouquet, minimum $7 donation, gets you a nice fresh bouquet. I know, that's a thing.
What?
Your table, so people come for dinner and you're like, hey, I just like, check it out, this is pretty nice. So giant peonies right now, like just.
Oh, I love peonies.
They do, it's so, they smell lovely, and you're supporting obviously the Filberg, so you feel good, but again, like, fresh bouquets, so.
Okay, so if somebody wanted to volunteer in the gift shop, volunteer for tours in the lodge, or volunteer for garden, where do they contact? Just call you?
Yeah, just call me, 339-2715, super easy, or head to our website, filberg.com, and, get connected with me. We're always looking for like-minded people.
Yes.
And that's what I say, like, we've worked really hard to find a group of people who are for the mission and the kind of goals that we have for the Filberg. We're all kind of moving in the same direction, and it's been great. Like, so if you love to garden and have a passion for gardening, clearly not me, if you would like to work in our gift shop, and we do special events, so there's a ton of opportunities.
Is there a summer music series like on the Thursdays or weekends or anything like that?
So we decided not to go with the summer music series this year. Only because Filberg Festival is back.
Yes.
And for me, I'm getting kind of my feet wet.
Totally.
And we actually have a lot of wedding bookings.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the thing is, we are kind of a great ceremony spot, so.
Oh, you are. I've actually been to a wedding there, and it's magical.
It is.
There's no other word for it. It's magical.
So we have several locations you can get married at in the park. We provide the chairs for the wedding. Our facility manager built, with hand tools, a arbor that you can use as well. So,
oh, great.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
You know what I love? The deer. Because you come around a corner and you're not expecting, and there's a deer. Like he or she is just kind of grousing, and they'll look up at you and go, oh, hi, how's it going? And they go back to what they're doing, and they just totally keep to themselves, and they're so amazing in that setting. It's like a picture. It's like a painting. It's like Bambi.
It is, and we've worked hard. So we have actually a wildlife preservation kind of designation. So that's the purpose, right? We discourage dogs in the park because we want to allow our wildlife to have that opportunity. We actually have 2 eagles. We call them Bob and Flo. We've named them. They've actually had babies, so we have baby eagles right now, and so.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have a camera on them or anything?
No, their nest is so high up.
Is it really?
It is really high up. So I kind of keep an eye on them and watch them. But the deer, the eagles, and just the birds, and
the rabbits.
You know what? Not as many this year, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, shockingly. We do have some raccoons somehow. They've shown up, but that's okay. We'll keep them. We'll keep them. We'll let everybody come in. We'll let you all come in.
Oh, I'm telling you, it is, if you've never been to Filberg, Heritage Lodge and Park Association in the Comox Valley, take a day. You need a day. You can't just go for an hour. Like, honestly, it's such a big property, and by the time you get into it and then you get down to the water, all you want to do is sit on one of the benches and just sit and take it all in. You really need an entire day, especially if it's Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday, when you can eat at the summer kitchen. Is that what you're calling it this year, the summer kitchen?
Still calling it summer kitchen, yeah.
Okay. So, in closing, anything you want to share with us or get us to think about other than everything you've already said?
Oh, there's so much. Really quickly, we do have a legacy tree program. So one of the things that we're working with, I know, there's so much things we're doing. So really quickly, we have a legacy tree program. Families or corporations, businesses can purchase a 5-year or 10-year sponsorship for a tree. And then we put a sign near your tree that actually did some educational pieces about the tree, and you can do a dedication. So that to me is, again, if there's a place in that park that has a special meaning to you, you can purchase a tree. Of course, all proceeds go to the Filberg Heritage Lodge and Park Association, but it's something that I'm passionate about as well. So yeah, and just come enjoy the park. It doesn't cost anything to come and see us. Spend some time, bring a coffee, have a coffee at the summer kitchen, bring a picnic, bring a blanket, a book. Yeah, just enjoy the park.
Let's go back to the Filberg Festival just for a second. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
10 to 4?
11 to 8, and then 11 to 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a little bit
Okay.
different hours this year. 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday, Saturday, 11
Okay.
a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Okay.
I got to tell you, Sunday, though, is going to be fantastic.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, every day will be fantastic, don't get me wrong.
So is there, quickly about tickets, is it individual or can you get a weekend pass?
Yes.
Or?
So
Okay.
quickly, you can get a weekend pass. If you head to filbergfestival.com, you can purchase them online. With COVID, everything, it's easier to purchase online. We have 3-day passes or individual days.
Okay.
Children 12 and under are free.
And is there a family pass that you can get as well?
No,
Okay.
because we're doing kids 12 and under free, it made the
Oh,
most
okay.
sense to, let's let the kids in for free, you
Okay.
know, and allow them to be able to partake.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm telling you, I'm just, I mean, we've known each other for, I don't know, going on 12 years now. And it's been so interesting to see your evolution through radio from promotions manager all the way through to director of 6 stations and how that evolved. And you work with a nonprofit. We cross paths how many times I can't count. And seeing you in this new role, it is a perfect fit. And I'm just so super excited for the Filberg. We're coming out of COVID. You've got the new festival happening. And I just can't wait to see what you do. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you so much. I know, it's been so good to see you in person again. Oh, I love it.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, so thank you so much for joining us today. This has really been fantastic. So if anybody would like more information, check out their website. You'll see it in a graphic right there. And you've been watching Explore, coming to you from the Shaw Spotlight Studio on Rob Ron Road in Campbell River. I'm Mary Ruth. Please join us again.